Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Tuesday, and all of our guests today, including Shane O'Brien, standing by. Brought to you by our title sponsor, Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. Man, our Bayside Oceanfront inbox is just slammed with people. So we talk about apathy. It hasn't set in, at least not quite yet. This from Craig in Nanaimo, just before we get to Shane. I'm an old guy, like Donnie.
Yep.
Thanks, Craig. Been a Canuck guy from the Western hockey days. Boy, Craig does go back like I do. I don't have confidence in this group. I don't think it can do a rebuild. If they tried, they will screw it up for sure. That's Craig in Nanaimo. Let's see what Shane O'Brien thinks from the Missin, the co-host of the Missin Curfew podcast, along with Scotty Upshaw, former Canucks defenseman. Shane, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Hey, boys, always good to see you. Thinking about everybody in Vancouver. I obviously keep an eye on my former squad, and the last 48 hours have been tough there. Hang in there, boys. Better days ahead, I hope.
48 hours? I think it's longer than that, Shane. Hey, what's your take on the struggles of your old team here?
Yeah, it's just I don't want to go back and kind of beat a dead horse, so to speak. But last year, the whole JT Miller stuff that went on with that dressing room, and the fact that they were, 2 years ago, they took the Edmonton Oilers to 7 games, and, they had so much momentum going into last season. I still can't understand how, from an ex-player's perspective, they couldn't just figure it out and just worry about winning hockey games. They trade JT Miller. When they traded JT Miller, boys, to me, right then and there, I thought that changed the whole trajectory of the organization. And, I feel from Adam Foote right now. I think Footy's trying to do the best he can. I just don't think they're a very good hockey club, fellas.
Yeah. Hey, Shane, famously, you had former Canuck Brad Richardson on your show. And I'm talking about the whole Miller-Pettersson feud here. And he said on your show that he told JT Miller when they were teammates that you're being too hard on the kid, too hard on Elias Pettersson. Out goes JT Miller. Did you expect Elias Pettersson? He's been better, but not to the level he has been. Did you expect him to be better than he has been with Miller gone?
Yeah, I just said before the season started, I thought Pettersson maybe had the most pressure of anyone heading into this NHL season, right? Obviously, listen, is JT Miller perfect? No, right? From guys that have played with him, and Richie's my boy, I trust his word over everyone. But I love his competitive edge, and I will take a guy on my team that's a little crusty and expects a lot out of his other players and other superstars rather than a guy that doesn't really bring it night in and night out. And I think Pettersson's trying out there. I think at one point, I don't know if he still is, he was leading the league in block shots as forwards. Mm-hmm. That shows me as an ex-player, he's getting in the shooting lanes. He's trying to do the other stuff. Listen, when you sign a big contract like that and you play in a great hockey market like Vancouver, pressure's going to come with it. I just unfortunately don't think we're ever going to see the same Pettersson we did early in his career for whatever reason. I'm not sure why that is. And for the Canucks, they're stuck with that contract, for the foreseeable future.
Hey, Shane, Chicago, Anaheim, San Jose, Montreal, teams that have rebuilt successfully, at least so far. So many people in Vancouver would like to see a rebuild, whether that means Quinn Hughes is here or not. Are you a fan of that approach?
Yeah, the rebuild's a tough word around the NHL, right? For players, fans, management. But at times, you got to look yourself in the mirror, Jim Rutherford, Patrick Alvin, and just assess your team. And listen, that's why they get paid the big bucks and got to make the tough decisions. Nobody in the hockey world, player, coach, front office, fans, ever wants to rebuild. But, did the Canucks a couple of years ago maybe overachieve under Rick Tocchet? Maybe they did. And maybe they gave us all a little false hope that, they were closer to winning a Stanley Cup than everyone thought. I just think fast forward now a year and a half or a quarter into another season. Listen, I watched the Canucks play the other night against the Flames. They looked flat. They didn't look like they had much emotion, and Calgary came in there and worked them pretty good. And to me, that's a big red flag. We all know Quinn Hughes doesn't have a contract and doesn't know if he wants an extension moving forward. Unfortunately, boys, I hate to say this for Canucks fans because they're some of the best in the league, but I do think it's time to think about a rebuild.
Hey, Shane, what do you think about Quinn Hughes, man? This is a franchise defenseman, best one ever. You know what? He hasn't won a lot here, Shane. He's had a ton of coaches. Sometimes it looked like body language. He's not happy. In your eyes, is he gone? Like, what are you seeing from him?
Yeah, it's unfortunate again, but I do think it's time that they need to realize that he's probably not going to be a Vancouver Canuck for his whole career. And like you said, he's, Cale Makar and him are arguably 1-2 in the NHL. He's battled some injuries last year. I thought Quinn Hughes really showed a lot of character last year when he didn't go to the Four Nations and said, hey, I got to focus on getting healthy and try to get the Vancouver Canucks in the playoffs. And it obviously didn't work out last year. They gave it a good effort and missed out. But if you can't lock him up, to me, why wait any longer? I mean, get out there. I'm sure they're working the phones already. You could get a lot of, picks and prospects and really help the rebuild and the future of the Vancouver Canucks. Listen, nobody wants to trade Quinn Hughes when you're looking at him as a hockey player, but you guys know more than anyone, it's a business at the end of the day. And I feel for the front office of the Canucks because they got some tough decisions coming up.
I got to think Sherwood's Shane O'Brien type of guy. This guy leads the NHL in hits. He's got 12 goals. Hey, there's a possibility, Shane, he might be moved here soon because he's a UFA, and I don't know if the Canucks can afford him. But what do you see when you see Sherwood? I mean, he's come out of nowhere. He's one of the NHL's top leading goal scorers.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a great story, and just for him, hard work, right? I mean, the guy forechecks hard. He finishes all his checks. He shoots the puck. He plays with emotion every single night. And don't get me wrong, boys. Over a course of an 82-game season, there's some nights it's hard to get up for, right? Your body's not feeling good. Maybe back in the day, you're playing in a place like Columbus or Carolina where maybe it wasn't a full barn, but you got to find a way to motivate yourself. And this guy, every time he steps on the ice and puts on that Canucks jersey, he plays as hard as he can. I absolutely love him. I said earlier in the year that Adam Foote should just show clips of his shifts to the whole team and be like, boys, if you play with this energy, desperation, and compete, you're going to win hockey games. And honestly, fellas, I don't think it's a lack of effort from this hockey club. I think they're out there trying to compete. I just don't think they're a very hard-nosed hockey club with the personnel they have.
Yep.
And unfortunately, when you can't, lack of skill, that's kind of what's happening right now, in my opinion.
Boy, I hear that a lot. Like when Zadorov didn't re-sign here, and so many fans were upset because he gave them such an edge. Hey, Shane, you've been around hockey for a long time. You played in Vancouver, and we hear mixed messages. The taxes and the tough fan base and the tough media, but then you have people like Besser and Demko and Garland extending their contracts. Do players want to play in a market like Vancouver?
They better. I mean, if you don't want to play in a place like Vancouver, then I think you're in the wrong line of work. I mean, yeah, there's some pressure that comes with it and the media attention, but I love that. And like when you're the biggest show in town and the city kind of revolves around you, like it's such a cool feeling to know that every game means so much to everybody, in the city and then the surrounding the city. And it's a pressure that I loved. And listen, I was lucky, right? I had the Sedins and Bobby Lou and Burr and Cass and the boys. Like we had a great hockey club, but we all embraced it. And then when you're not playing well, there's the pressure of, you don't even want to go out for dinner because, everyone's looking at you saying what's going on. So you almost got to bring it every single night. And listen, like you said, those guys resigning proved to me that they love the city. They love the organization. They believed in it. And once again, fellas, it's just really too bad. I'm going to say sad to see where it is right now because, like I said, a couple years ago as a Canucks alumni, being back in that building when it was rocking, I thought, the next 5 to 10 years were going to be unbelievable. And here we are talking rebuild.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that. By the way, we're talking with Shane O'Brien. Missing Curfew airs on the DraftKings Network at dknetwork.com and wherever you get your podcasts. Let's switch gears for a second here, if you don't mind, Shane. You're Canadian. Should both Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard be on Team Canada in Italy?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question back up home right now, isn't it? And I think John Cooper and the boys at Hockey Canada, when their head hits the pillow, I'm sure those two kids are what they're thinking about. And listen, to me, I think Celebrini an absolute lock. I love that way the way that kid plays. And for me, Connor Bedard, whatever he did this offseason, I was skeptical, boys, on him his first 2 years. And, you bring up Richie. Brad Ritchie always used to say to me on the Missin Curfew text or anytime I saw him, like, oh, he's so young, give him time. And, he was young and is young, but what he did this offseason, he's quicker, he's stronger, and he's playing with more bite, boys. You see when someone takes a run at him, he gives a little cross-check back. He finishes checks more. He's going to the dirty areas. Connor Bedard has figured it out over this offseason, and that's why he's playing so great in Chicago. Not that Coop and the boys care, but if they had wanted my opinion, I think Bedard and Celebrini are both on the squad.
How much do you think the possibility of participating in the Olympics is motivating players right now?
Yeah, it's got to be, right? I mean, the only thing that motivated me about the Olympics was the Olympic break. I was like, wow, I got 10 days here to do whatever I want. This is going to be fun. But no, I mean, going back to 2010, the year it was in Van, I remember Luongo and Cass and the Sedins and the boys, you would talk to them throughout the season, like, are you looking forward to it? Are you thinking about it? And human nature is yes. And I think for these elite players, we saw what happened last year in the Four Nations, the buzz that was created around hockey, not only in Canada, but down here in the United States. I can't even imagine being an Olympic athlete and representing your country. But to answer your question, I think, yes, it motivates these superstar players, and they all want to be on that team so bad.
Okay, well, one more from me anyway, Shane. There's been a lot of talk this season, even going back to last season, about 3-on-3 overtime. Lots of slow play, strategy, circling back. Does the NHL need to tweak 3-on-3 overtime, maybe a shot clock, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think there's got to be something that just doesn't allow them to bring the puck back, right? I don't have the answer for you boys, but when it gets 3-on-3 and they start regrouping and bringing it back and passing it back to the goalie and slowing it down, to me, that's not exciting. To me, that's not the reason the NHL went to the 3-on-3 format from the beginning. I blame the coaches, boys. Coaches have put in a defensive system now that they even can shut down the 3-on-3. So I think it's time the NHL looks at something different. I don't love the shootout either. And the reason is, boys, as you guys know, points are at a premium. Everything is so close in the NHL. To miss the playoffs because you weren't a great shootout team or you lost a couple shootouts down the stretch. I know how hard these guys work over the course of 82 to try to get in there and play for the best trophy in sports. To me, I just don't love the shootout, how much of an impact it has on playoff spots.
The center of the universe, Shane, the Toronto Maple Leafs wake up this morning in 28th place. What the heck is going on?
Yeah, see, people in Vancouver, they can at least smile about that, right? They're like, at least the Leafs are in last place, boys. I don't know. I picked the Leafs to win the East. Nice pick, O'Brien. I thought the moves I knew that they would miss Mitch Marner over the course of 82. He's an elite player. He's doing his thing in Vegas. I just thought with the size they brought in up front with Nick Waugh, Joshua, I wasn't sure how Machellia was going to pan out. I thought their defense was good enough. Listen, Austin Matthews is banged up right now. Before he was banged up, I'm not sure what's going on with this guy. I don't know if he's pouting over Mitch Marner being gone, but his compete wasn't there. You would think if I was Austin Matthews and I lost Mitch Marner, I'd want to prove to everyone in Toronto around the NHL that, I can do it without him and I can put this team on my back. I do think they're going to be all right, boys. They're lucky that the Eastern Conference is so close. I think today they're 4 or 5 points out of that second wildcard spot. But it's American Thanksgiving down here this week. It's time for them to get it going because if you wait around too long, as you guys know, it's tough to claw your way back.
Where are you going for this Olympic break?
I don't know. Good question. I was trying to go over to, we were going to try to go over to Italy, but unfortunately it just is not in the Missin Curfew budget. We can't quite afford to get over there. So unless John Cooper or Getsy and the boys at Hockey Canada want to have us over, I'll just be hanging out in Newport Beach. But I did enjoy my 2010 break in the city of Vancouver, boys. It was absolutely humming back there. I enjoyed it as much as I could back in the day.
Yeah,
Roxy.
There's a table set aside for you at the Roxy, as a matter of fact. There's a plaque there. Hey, thanks for this, my friend.
Hey, you guys are the best. Thanks a lot. Anytime.